They said he was going to so I would expect that. Yeah, drives around.
No.
I thought you were right in the commercial set. What? Man, he should be too. He's gonna look nice. There's actually. Secret.
Is this your?
That
was the case that wanted something wrong. Is this your?
Yeah. Sitting there waiting.
No, it's fine.
Thank you very much.
All rise. Council makes order session. All of Judge Senate.
Thank you. Please be seated. Good afternoon. At this time, let the record reflect, we're taking up two actions. I believe one is style Commonwealth of Kentucky versus Stephen Eugene Lawson. It's 23 CR 165 and 23 CR 371. Mr. Lawson is present. He is represented in this case. Both his attorneys are here, Mr. Wolf and Mr. Buckler. We're also taking up Commonwealth of Kentucky versus Joseph Lawson. It's 23 CR 183 and 23 CR 239. I can't see the camera there, but is Mr. Joseph Lawson on Zoom there?
He's there.
Mr. Lawson, on Zoom, can you hear us from the Grayson County Detention Center?
His mic is on mute.
I believe the mic is on mute there.
He did signal with his hand.
Okay, so he can hear, okay. If at any point you can't hear, try to let us know so we can make sure you hear everything that's going on at this proceeding. Both of his attorneys are present here in the courtroom, Mr. Coleman and Mr. Boyd. Also present on behalf of the Commonwealth is special prosecutors in the case, Mr. Young, Ms. Young, and Mr. Lasowski. I believe we're reviewing several matters. We'll first start in the Steve Lawson case. I know one of the things that was an issue last time, and a show cause rule had been issued for the foul that Mr. Lavitt had in this case. Has that been provided?
It has, Your Honor. We were able to retrieve the file, I believe, last week. We do have it.
Okay, so that takes care of that issue. Is that correct? Okay.
Thank you.
And I believe the other issues before the court today was we were reviewing today to see if Joey Lawson's counsel had filed their memorandum in regard to the issue of consolidation, and that was filed, it appears, on October the 18th. Has the response been filed with that also?
I have it to file.
You have it with you? Okay, because I don't have it. Yes, you may.
And there's also another agreed order that we signed with Mr. Joseph Lawson's attorneys.
Okay.
There's our response.
Thank you, sir. We'll have that placed in the file.
And there's a agreed order.
Okay. Okay, I will have that placed in both of Joey Lawson's files. Is there any other matters that we need to address at this time?
I mentioned the memo for severance and consolidation that I would tender to the court a copy for in-camera review. Steve Lawson's grand jury statements, and that's what I have here. I imagine actually based off just prior litigation that the court's probably already reviewed a lot of those statements, but this needs to be attached to that motion for preservation.
Sir, if you want to bring that up. Yes, sir.
It's got 2 discs for both indictments. That makes sense. There we are.
Okay. And I guess this agreed stipulation that I have in front of me, the only statements made by the defendant to law enforcement the Commonwealth intends to use in its case in chief are the statements made to the agents on October 16th and 23rd. And that is that in regard to statements of Joseph Lawson?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Just
Joseph Lawson. Okay, very good. All right, is there anything else we need to take up at this time?
Your Honor, if I may, I had a few items to add to our motion for severance, if the court will allow. Sure. Some case law that is not binding on the court. I just did want to address it. We would adopt the motions of Mr. Howe and Steve Lawson regarding Sixth Amendment issues. We would leave that to the oral record of the court arguments previously made, as well as the written filings that we put in that. I did want to address an issue that we kind of lightly touched on in our filing. That was kind of the gross disparity of evidence between Mr. Howe especially and Joseph Lawson. and then what I believe is an unavoidable bleed over of evidence from Mr. Howe, causing prejudice against Mr. Lawson. The Seventh Circuit, again, not binding. This is a case from New York State. They provided some guidance in assessing the degree of prejudice in a joint trial. 4 factors. The third one I've already referenced, co-defendant statements inculpating a moving defendant, which I'll leave to the court's record, and then a gross disparity in the weight of evidence. That's Garner 837 Federal 2nd at 1413. And then I did locate one case I wanted to speak about briefly because it is analogous. It was U.S. versus Kelly 349 Federal.
Mr. Boyd, did you put these in your memorandum?
No, they were not, Your Honor. And
If you want to supplement with something in writing, because I've been having all kinds of hearings here, and when people show up to court, start arguing things, I'd rather have it in the record when I sit down and review it as opposed to coming in and citing all these cases, because like I said, I'm in the middle of a domestic violence hearing. It's been going all day upstairs.
if the court would allow me to, I'll supplement this evening with a brief, probably 2 pages.
Okay. Let me see. Would you want to respond to
It just
that?
depends on what it says, but I'll do so by Monday if I need to.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Okay, so you want till Monday, I'm sorry, what day did you want to?
I could do so this evening, Your Honor.
This evening, okay. So
If
you're
I-
planning,
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
you're planning to have it done this evening,
It's very brief, yes.
okay, and then you would like to have to the end of business on
If I'm gonna
Monday?
file something, I'll just file it Monday if it's okay.
Okay, that'd be fine, and then I'll start working on Monday, then how
Yes.
about that?
Yes, sir.
But I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm in the middle of a circus upstairs, so,
It took a little while to find the case law because it does seem to be an issue of first impression in Kentucky courts. So I apologize to the court and the prosecution in the matter, but I did want to bring it to the court's attention as it is.
certainly, if you'll file in the record that way, I'll be sure I get to see it and I'll review it, certainly.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and that'll give you an opportunity to respond. Is there anything else we need to take up at this time?
Judge, I do have one thing, and
Sure.
you probably know this. We were not a party to the agreed order that was just presented to Your Honor. So Mr. Buckler and I have no idea what that says.
Would you like a copy of that?
Would you allow me to approach to at least look at it? And if there's something immediate we need to put on record, we'll do it. Otherwise, we'll come back.
If you want to take a look at it, yes, and if you want to make a copy, you're welcome to take your copy home with you too.
Oh, yes, of course.
Judge, while he is looking at that, I did also want to clear as far as the discs that I just tuned to the court file that are attached to the motion. It was intended to be in camera, so I would expect that it would be filed under seal, just to make sure it's not.
Any objection to that?
No, sir, it's grand jury, I think it's.
Okay. I'm going to write on it now and have it taped saying clerk to seal.
Thank
No. Judge, we don't have comment on that. I will tell Your Honor, just to give you an update, I think we'll be done with the entire review of what the U.S. Attorney's Office gave us, comparing it to what that FBI gave us here in a couple of weeks. And we'll have all the expert depth stuff done in a couple of weeks as well.
So is that's additional discoveries that we.
Well, we're comparing what happened. I'll just tell Your Honor briefly. We
If you
got.
need 1 second, here's copy machines on up here. There we go. Go
I'm
ahead.
going to explain to you so when we indicted the case last October, we'd asked the FBI for all of their information, as well as the Sheriff's Office and Kentucky State Police. And the U.S. Attorney's Office. U.S. Attorney's Office provided us what they had prior to the indictment. And then subsequent to the indictment, the U.S. Attorney's Office located additional stuff. And so they put it on a 10 terabyte hard drive and sent it to our office. What's on that disk, the majority of it has been turned over. The problem is the U.S. Attorney's Office renamed their files when they got it from the FBI. So we're having to open up each individual file and go through to make sure, instead of just sending them over to everybody over another big disk to go through, we're actually going through and looking at comparing what went out with what was on the U.S. Attorney's hard drive to assure everybody got everything. So it's been very tedious.
So is most of it overlapping things?
Most of it is overlapping, yes, sir, it is. But there is some stuff that was additional that will be sent out within the next couple of weeks.
Do you anticipate any other additional discovery?
I don't unless somebody finds something, but we were completely unaware. We were advised that we had everything when we indicted the case, and then subsequently, I think they went back and looked, and some stuff had been filed in an unusual place and whatever their server is. So we're just going through and making sure everything lines up.
Okay. I know there's been a couple additional searches. Is there anything additional coming from that or?
No, sir, not much.
No. Okay, very good. All right, is there anything else we need to address today? How much longer do you think it'll take to finish that portion that you're going through right now?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay, very good. All right. I'm not going to set any further review dates. I'll take the matter under submission, I guess, as of Monday evening after you get that
And
response.
Judge, one last thing is I know Your Honor we talked about hotels. I'm going to send an email and let everybody know where we booked.
Okay, well, what I was planning on doing is trying to make sure everybody is in a different location.
Yes.
I know one of the problems or concerns I had in Christian County was it appeared that most of the hotels run one cul-de-sac.
Yes, sir.
And I don't want anything spilling over every night from this trash. So
Yes.
I want to keep everybody separated as best as possible. So if you'll get that to me, and I guess we need to talk to everybody about that.
Yes,
We need to
sir.
try to get
I'll send
everybody
it.
lined up in a different place.
Yes, sir. I'll send it.
Okay, very good. Anything else we need to address today?
No, sir.
All right, thank you all very
Thank you,
much.
Judge.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.